So I'm gonna try some backwoods engineering here.
It works.
Well, hey folks, welcome back to my channel. I'm Handy Matt, and today we're going to pick up where we left off yesterday. I picked up a 6-foot 4x4 for the other side of this gate, this fence post, to make the wedge to help make it straight without having to reset the post. I've measured it 3 times, changed my measurements twice. I think I'm about ready to rip that 4x4 down the middle. So let's head out front and get her done. Let's see how well I did. Just line it up with the rest of the fence here. Something doesn't seem right. Okay, I don't know exactly where my measurements screwed up, but they screwed up by this much. But I found an easy fix. This is almost exactly the same size as a 4x4, so it makes a good post. Plus I'm tying it into this 4x4. And down here, it's kicked out basically to the south a tiny bit, so that I have a nice, fairly square opening. 34 3/8 wide, top and bottom. And I think it's going to work, so I'm going to go ahead and get this thing screwed into place, take my final measurements for the gate, and start assembling the gate. top. Yeah, this is the other screw. I hit another one. I'm burying these screws pretty far because they're only that long, so I'm burying them about that. So they really get into the other chunk of lumber. Alright, it's time to get a couple more things put on here so we can make some final measurements for the actual gate measurements. Got to put a piece of fence slat right here. Now we're going to put the latch on. The latch has a certain thickness, about 3/8 of an inch or so, and I want to make sure that I account for it for the width of the gate. So I got some lag bolts here. I got a drill bit that's a little bit smaller than the shank of the lag bolt. I'm going to pre-drill them. Let's see what our measurement comes out to here. It's about 33 3/4. go.
Something else?
Yep. All right, get ready to install here. First things I have to do is I need to put basically the door stop slash the jamb, and that's important so when the gate slams shut, it doesn't slam on the bolt and start ripping out the leg bolts that hold onto the gate. So we're going to put this 1x material here. Got a line already in place, so I know where I'm at. Alright, so I've put a couple pieces of shims here, right at a 1/4 inch thick. And of course, I'm going to use Nelson wood shims made in the USA, by no other. These are 100% trees grown in the USA, milled in the USA, and made in the USA. And they're not Canadian because, you know, Canada hates us. The Canadians don't hate us, but Canada hates us. So buy American. So there's a space in and out, so I don't have any binding issues. Here's the gate, and I am going to temporarily screw it to the post here. So it's easy for me to finish the rest of the gate. Okay. It's a bit tricky. I don't want to walk around, but I am going to pull it back against the jamb and run a screw into it so it stays right there. Okay. Now, you guys can meet me out front while I take all the slats off the old gate. let's get some slats put on this gate. So I've got 2 here that are fairly decent and 2 here that are fairly decent. They're gonna go all in the outside where they don't have the old holes from the hinges, etc. Then I'll fill in the middle with all the stuff that's got that. So got one selected here that I'm going to use here. What happened there? It totally missed where it's supposed to be going. See? Didn't like it. Come on. This is good. Right. Good right. Let's go. This might yes, I'll work it. Running out of battery. Can I get one more in? Throw a couple in the diagonal here. Battery's dead. All right, I'll wrap that up and I'll bring you guys back when we put the hinges on. All right, let's get some hardware on here. Got my hinges ready. I even oiled them up. So I'm just going to center the bolt of this hinge right on the 1/4 inch crack I created with those Made in America Nelson wood shims, and I'm going to put one lag screw in first and then get everything else figured out. Got a combination of new ones and old lag screws in my pouch. We'll just use them how they come out. Make sure that thing's there. We go. I think we'll go over here to this very last one. The next one, then I'll pre-drill the rest of them. Pretty important to pre-drill for lace. That way you're not splitting wood fibers and maybe possibly causing the wood to split, and you're actually just creating a hole that the threads can really grab onto really good. That might be There's a long one. Something there. I'm gonna need that siren. So right here. Same thing. Get one, do this. Over here to the latch. I got sweat dripping all over my glasses. What a mess. Okay, so the first thing we're put on is the bolt. Okay, and what you want to do here is you want to cheat it up. This gate, regardless of how strong I made it, is going to sag eventually. So you can buy yourself a little bit of time from adjusting this by putting it all the way up against the bottom, the top of the catch. All right. So we'll drill a hole. Okay. It's a little bit, oh wait, it's tied up for a screw. No wonder it's tight. All right, then you got the handle. And now this bolt's meant to be this way a little bit further, but I got a 2x4 there. I don't have more wood there, so it's sticking over that quite a bit. So this little thing doesn't matter, but it doesn't matter anyway because I don't need all that extra strength because I got the doorstop jam on the other side. So right now it'll be a handle. I'll put it right here in the center of this 2x4. Yep, that's going to be super strong. Perfect. All right, I'm going to take you around the backyard on the other side, and we'll release the gate and put the spring on it that'll automatically close it. So we'll head back there right now. All right, let's set this gate free. Take out these temporary screws. If I can get the bit to get into them. around over there. I need to saw those off just a little bit, but run smooth. Perfect. Now I'm going to put a spring on it, probably right about here over to there. That way it'll automatically close. And I got a little trick up my sleeve so I don't have to have a brick out here to hold it open if I need to open for extended periods of time. So I'll bring you guys back when I'm got everything ready to put in there for that spring. Alright, got a couple of eye screws here we're going to use to attach the spring over, and I'm going to pre-drill for them. And right about there. And we'll take my bit out. And I'm going to put this right here into there, into my drill, so I can drive these eye bolts in, eye screws. All you gotta do is just start it with my hand a little bit. Then stick this on here and pull back a little bit while you do it, and run that sucker in. That's right where I want it. And we'll put one more over here. That. Then grab my spring and grab the tool I forgot. Yeah, I'll crimp that later. So I opened this one up a little bit so I can get the spring on there. On the other end, I took a hook out of an old bungee, and just like that, now I can take it off, let it hang, and I can just prop the gate open without it trying to close on me. So let's test it out. Yeah, it's dragging on the ground. It closes right where I want it though. I might shorten this spring up. I'm gonna first cut off that a little bit later on the bottom, and I'll try it then. If the spring still works, great. If not, I can always move it up here and it's extended all the way out to the other side of the gate. Otherwise, right now, job's done. Finally, it took me 2 days, but hope you guys enjoyed this project I had here today and yesterday. And I got a project for tomorrow, but you're gonna have to come by tomorrow to see what it is. It might be a good one, it might be a bad one. That's gonna be a good one. It always is. Anyway, best way to support my channel is hit that share button, subscribe, like, and comment, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Laters.